Hey everyone, welcome back to a Dragon Ball Super card game brought to you by Attack On Productions. Fluff here, a little animated, social distancing sucks, but make sure you guys are staying safe, wearing masks, wearing gloves, don't cough on people, that type of thing. Anyway, we're back at you with a Universe 7 deck profile. Not a lot happening in the game right now, especially concerning like metagame, what's good, what's not. So we've been doing a lot of personal interest type things. This was a deck I really wanted to give a go. I gotta say, it's not really my playstyle, but the deck is just downright disrespectful. So let's get into it, shall we? Like Mr. Rogers style. Let's have a look. On the front side, so on Goku, he has Activate Battle. When this card is involved with a battle, you discard an extra card, you take one from your life, you draw one, and he gains 5,000 for the battle. Then this effect is negated for the battle. You can do this effect multiple times per turn if you so need to keep yourself from dying, or if you want to get to that 5 or less for a couple of the cards coming forward. At any point, you can choose a blue card and a red card from your hand, place them under the leader, draw 3 cards, restand an energy, and flip him to active mode. I don't have the shiny one. Don't crucify me for it. On the backside, he has Activate Main or Battle once per turn. If your life is 5 or less, you choose one card under this card, place it in your drop area, then you choose one. If you have a Universe 7 card in play, you can draw one card. Then your opponent reveals their hand. You choose one extra card or battle card with 35,000 power or less and place it into the drop area. Or the other effect is you choose 3 multicolor extra cards with different names in your drop area and add them to your hand. So you are loading 2 cards under him. You can use those 2 effects twice. You've got to... Sorry, I kicked it. You've got to kind of... be careful as far as you use those. You know, you can't use them unless you're ready to go for game, or it's going to set you up to put you in a gigantic advantageous position. So that's the leader. I'm going to move the leader right there, and we're going to talk about the cards. So this deck, we're going to start with the extra cards. So starting off, first and foremost, we have 4 Tournament of Power. This is the bread and butter of the deck. It's what makes the deck go. It is a field card. It negates the energy exhaust of blue-red multicolor cards. And then also Activate Main. If your leader's Universe 7, which he is, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You can place them in any order on the bottom or top of your deck. Now, that doesn't mean that you can take 2, place them on the top, 1 on the bottom. If you choose top or bottom, all 3 have to go to top or bottom, but you choose the order that they go in. So... this card is super, super, super important. You want to be able to see it turn 1, which is why we play 4. Otherwise, it's used for the leader's effect or other discard effects in the deck. But we do run 4. Gotta have it, gotta see it, or the deck doesn't do a whole lot. Next, as kind of a tech choice, we've got 2 Sensu Bean. Don't think you need to run the 4. The deck's really good at modulating its energy. It's really good at being defensive to a certain point. I do like 2 Sensu Beans. I would probably side the other 2 for more early aggro heavy decks, which is a lot of what I've been testing this against. The deck doesn't need Sensu Bean, but it is nice to be able to restand, to be able to use multiple extra cards throughout the duel or in a turn. So 2 Sensu Bean. Going on to one of the more vanilla type of negates, we've got 4 Dimension Magic. The leader is blue-red, so you could use Dimension Magic. You could use any red negate that requires a red leader, such as After Image Technique. Dimension Magic, Hope, we all know, burst 5. You can take 1 from your life instead of paying its cost. You also restand 2 of your blue energy. Wonder if this is going to get eroded to, say, mono blue, but we'll see. Next, we play 1 of Tyranny's Cost. This is an Activate Main. Basically, once we have Invoker on the field, this is a 1 cost, draw 2. Then if your opponent has 11 or more cards in their hand, they choose cards in their hand and shuffle them into their deck until they have 10 cards left in their hand. So if they have 12, 2 are going back, they have 10. We don't really use it for that shuffle effect. We use it for the pay 1, draw 2. just nice to see it. I don't want this clogging. I don't want to waste a ton of energy on these. It's nice having if you see it. If you don't see it, it's not the end of the world. Out of the new multi-box, or Divine Multiverse, the draft box, we're playing 2 Phantom Fists. This is incredible. I really love this card. So Energy Exhaust 2, energy, 1 blue, 1 red. If you have 4 or fewer, or 4 or more energy, you can activate this card from your hand by placing 1 red card from your hand into your drop area instead of paying this card's cost, which is great for later if you don't have energy open to play it, or you want to keep your energy open for defensive plays. But it's an activate main. At the start of your opponent's next main phase, choose up to 1 of your blue energy, switch it to active mode, then choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards. It gets minus 30, or it gets minus 15,000 power until the end of the turn. So this is really good for getting rid of pesky things or something that might put a little too much pressure on you. They are fantastic. I could see playing more of these. I just felt like the way that the deck was built, you didn't need 4 of these. 2's plenty. Fantastic. Next, we're running 3 Sleepy Boy techniques. This card is amazing. This card is just bonkers in Invoker decks. It's energy exhaust, of course. But then counterattack, negate the attack, then you draw 1 card, then you choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards and return it to its owner's hand. So if your opponent has 2 cards on the field, they swing with 1, you negate the attack, you draw 2 cards, then you send the other card back to their hand, or if they attack with their leader while they've got an active mode battle card. It's ridiculous for 1 energy with Invoker, because it's a negate, draw 2, and sends a card back. This card's amazing. I could easily see running this out of 4 of. The only reason that we don't is we don't usually see Invoker until turn 3, typically. So we don't want this clogging our hand. We want to be able to see some of the earlier stuff as well. Then we're playing 2 of the We're in This Together. This card is awesome. It always comes back to your hand while it's in the drop area. You can pay 1 red energy, and you add this card from your drop area to your hand. So you can use this to discard for stuff like Topo or the leader effect, and then just pay 1 red, get it right back, so you have more discard. But on top of that, if your leader is a Universe 7, which it is, choose all of your opponent's battle cards with 25,000 power or less and KO them. So this is a fantastic field wipe. It doesn't get past barrier, but it is absolutely fantastic. If your opponent goes wide, you just punish them with this. Kind of for the same reason that we don't run a lot of Phantom Fists. You don't need a ton of these. 1, honestly, if you see 1 in the game, you're good enough, because you will always have this card. You will always have access to it as long as you don't get it warped somehow. Next, moving into kind of the bread and butter of the deck as far as the extra cards. We've got 4 Emperor's Death Beam. Activate main, you choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier. It gets minus 30,000 for the duration of the turn. And then this effect, all of the following extra cards have this in common, which is why I kind of lumped them all together. They're all incredibly important. You send this card from your drop area to your warp. You look at the top card of your deck. If it's a multicolor extra card, you may add it to your hand. Otherwise, place it on top of the deck. So remember, Tournament of Power lets us look at the top 3 of the deck, grab a card, and then kind of choose the area. We can use Tournament of Power to see what's coming, so we know we're never going to miss these. It's just amazing. So the 3 main extra cards from this archetype all have that effect. So we have 12 cards in the deck that do that effect. Then we have Royal Condemnation. Royal Condemnation is the counterplay of this set. If your leader is a Universe 7, which of course it is, and your opponent is playing a battle card with an energy cost of 8 or less, it's placed on the bottom of the owner's deck instead of being played. For 1 energy, that's ridiculous. Like, that's stronger than Denial of Hope, that's stronger than Champa, that's stronger than Frost Deadly Poison. Like, that's just insane. For when you consider that you're going to play this with Invoker, you pay 1 energy to counterplay, get rid of just about anything. Unless it has Deflect, of course. But we do run 4 of those. And then the last 4 extra cards are Catastrophic Blow. This is a little more tricky to use, but it can be a win condition for the deck. This deck oftentimes will sit on an opponent and not let them awaken. Catablow will give you that late game like pick off. If you have 4 Catablow, that's 5 damage in 1 turn. And I'll explain that as we get to it. But activate main if you have a red-blue multicolor Son Goku in play, or there are no battle cards in your battle area, deal 1 damage to your opponent. So you do have to have a multicolor Son Goku. You have to have Invoker. And then this will deal 1 damage by playing it. 1 damage for 1 energy. That's guaranteed. I love it. And then, of course, it's got the look at the top and get a card. So that's our extra cards. It is a little thick on the extra card side. Going into battle cards, we do run 2 Whis Tournament Spectator. This just helps us get into Tournament of Power before... like if we don't open Tournament of Power, hopefully we open a Whis. We can play the Whis, search out the Tournament of Power, and add it to your hand. Turn 2, if you have to do this turn 1, turn 2 to find Tournament of Power is not the worst thing in the world. Super combo, we've got the Beerus Divine Obliterator. This is one of the new breed of super combos. Instead of being a draw or being tied to your life, this has another effect. When you combo with this card from your hand, during your opponent's turn, that's another important thing. If you combo with this, you get to restand one of your multicolor, blue-red multicolor energy. It's just perfect. You don't really need the draws in this deck. This is great for, especially on turn 3, you have to tap out to play the Vegeta. You combo with Beerus on your opponent's first attack, then you've got an energy to defend yourself with. Or later, if you have to restand energy to defend yourself. It's perfect for that as well. So we do play 4 of those. Theoretically, you could play 3 in a draw, or 2 of these in 2 draws, or just 3 of these. But I like 4. I like seeing them. They're free 10,000 combos at the absolute worst. Next, we've got the 3-drop Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, which is our first Invoker of the deck. Barrier Deflect, very hard to get rid of, very difficult. Makes your opponent go out of their way, make bad plays just to get rid of him. But Invoker, whenever you would be playing a red-blue extra card, you can tap 1 red-blue multicolor instead of paying its cost. So this is why we're playing extra cards with 5 energy in it. Like, you don't actually pay 5 energy, you're going to pay 1 with Invoker. So, perfect. 19,000. We don't sleep on that card. We want to see it by turn 3. If your opponent does deal with that card, Draftbox gave a solution. The Beerus Whis will play itself if a Universe 7 card is removed from your battle area by your opponent's skill. You play this card from your hand, and you can't play another copy of this card for the turn. Then auto, if it's your opponent's turn, when you play this card, at the end of the turn, place this card at the bottom of the deck, and then draw 1. So he's not going to last on the field. It's not just another body that's going to float around. They're going to get rid of your Vegeta. You're going to play Beerus Whis, keep yourself protected for the turn. Then at the end of the turn, he goes to the bottom of the deck. You get to draw a card. Hopefully you find another Vegeta in that time. So 2 of those, because we don't want those to clog us up. Next, we play 2 Topo, because why not? This Topo could be the Kaioken Goku from Draftbox 5 Divine Multiverse. I didn't play that Goku because I don't think it fits in this deck. But I felt Topo was just that amount of protection. I would side another copy or 2 of Topo for really swarmy decks. The deck has a lot of problems with early aggro, so being able to drop a Topo on turn 2 is incredibly vital. It'll basically stop your opponent from going, and it'll hopefully buy you the time that you need to get into your winning turns. Following that off, we've got the Ultra Instinct Son Goku Energy Explosion. We play 3 of these. Auto, when you play him, you choose 3 of your energy. So he's 6 to play. You choose 3 of your energy, place them in the drop area. Then you choose 3 cards from your drop area and place them in your energy. Those go back into active mode. So you play him for 6, restand 3. So he's an effective 3 cost during that turn. And then auto once per turn, when one of your cards deals a damage, and once per turn, when one of your cards deals a damage, you deal an extra damage to your opponent. So with Catastrophic Blow, as most of you know, when he's on the field, you Catablow. The first Catablow of the turn is 2 damage. So if you have all 4, that's 5 damage total. Doesn't have to be your win condition, but it definitely helps. And this is also a stepping stone, so I'm going to leave it right here just because kind of the next couple cards. Son Goku Instinct Surpassed. This is another win condition. So triple strike deflect. Your opponent can't respond to him being played. You choose 2 multicolor cards or multicolor extra cards in your hand. Place them in your drop area. Choose one of your opponent's leader cards. It gets minus 5,000 for the turn. Then switch this card to active mode. So you do have to pay 6 for him. Then he swings. You choose 2 extra cards, drop them, and then he restands. So you can actually do that as many times as you want. I mean, if you had 6 multicolor cards, this guy would get 4 attacks. So swing 1, drop 2, swing 2, drop 3, or drop 2, swing 3, drop 2, swing 4. And nothing is going to stop you from being able to do that multiple times per turn. That effect's not negated. It's another win condition for you. So unless your opponent has multiple negates or they neg his power down, you've got him. But off of those 2 cards there, we go into the Secret Wear. Son Goku, the Awakened Power. This is old school Victory Strike. I chose it over Apex of Power because he can't be negated. His skill can't be negated. He is susceptible to counterplays, which is kind of a bummer if your opponent happens to catch that. I do like that the Apex of Power drops cards from your opponent's hand when it's played, but I do love this. And the way that the deck, look top 3, place them on the bottom or top. If you're not satisfied with the 3, put them on the bottom. You will cycle your deck to find this guy unless he's in your life. That's the deck. After I've tested it a few times, my initial thoughts are the deck is fine. The deck is fun. The deck is slightly competitive. I won't say it's as good as like Surge Piccolo or anything like that. I will say the pivotal weak point in this deck is turn 2, turn 3. If you can Zerg this deck down in turn 2, turn 3, or find a way to keep that Vegeta off the field, then you basically lock this deck down and the deck will just lose. Those are kind of the weak spots of the deck. So deal with the Vegeta, have a backup plan for the Beerus and Whis in case they've got it. When that Goku is played, get in a rest position, so Crusher Ball it or Frost Deadly Poison it. Don't let Victory Strike sit in active mode, right? Like, don't do that. Other than that, things coming up. Bancroft or Jimmy are working on a new Janemba deck. Stay tuned for that. That should be incredibly interesting. If there's anything that you want us to do as far as deck building in the future, make sure to let us know. Sorry, I've rambled a lot. Sorry, my words have been mixed up. I've actually been out of the game for the most part the last few months. But hopefully I can be more involved in this and make more decks that you guys want to see. So thanks again for watching. If you don't mind, subscribe, hit the bell, send us a message, leave a comment, tell us how bad we are, tell us how good we are. Tell us, whatever you want to tell us. If you want to see something specific, let us know. Anyway, thanks guys, and as always, Fluff out.